I'm Noelle.
I'm Phil. We run Common Name Farm. We each had been messing around with different business plans and ideas on our own and came together and were brainstorming names.
We're all plant nerds, so we thought of different plant names, like scientific and cool Latin names of different plants.
Yeah, and couldn't decide on what one single plant that would be emblematic of everything we wanted it to reflect.
The common name of any living thing is what people call it, just in any language, even regionally, what people call plants. And it's very much rooted in like local culture and history. And we wanted to be the people's farm. We didn't want to be, above anybody or out of reach of anybody. We just wanted to be the people's farm. So while we had thought of many cool scientific names and cool common names of plants, we came up with, what about just common name? So we're CSA farmers, we're market farmers, we're wholesale farmers. And it's been really cool in our community. We've been able to say that a lot of people who we feed, their very first foods came from our farm that we grew. So we've seen there's a lot of young families, and there's been a lot of babies who first started on solid foods, and their parents tell us their first food was
something that we grew, yeah.
Something that we grew.
It's amazing.
It's incredible. I can't believe that we get to do that, It's so humbling. We're growing to help you nourish your bodies and those of your family. It's very intimate. I feel very humbled to be able to get to do this.
The spirit in which your food is grown is incredibly important. We consider ourselves stewards, conductors. We enable these plants to grow. We try to put them in the best position to grow the best they can and harvest them, bring them to people who can eat them and thrive.
Yeah, I feel like people in recent decades have become really disconnected from their food, where it comes from, the food system. And people most often don't get to meet their farmers, so they can't ask them questions about how it was grown. It's just like a faceless relationship, right? Somebody grew this food. You don't really know what the practices are. There's not always transparency around it. That's why farmers market settings are so great, CSA and things like that. But yeah, it takes a lot of work to grow food, and I think that's something that people feel disconnected from. They have a plate of different foods, and where did this come from? Who grew it? What practices did they use? What all did it take for this food to get to my body? We always try to pour our love and good energy into the food that we grow, and I think that renders it more nutritious, don't you?
I do. Don't you? The food that we're consuming is predicated almost entirely on the health of the soil that it's grown in. You cannot have nutritious food with unhealthy, mistreated soil. Like many other farmers and gardeners, we recognize and insist upon the health of our soil first and foremost, because that's our collaborator. That's the basis of what we do. That's the basis of our livelihood. The soil of this earth is a precious resource, which, as Noelle mentioned, is being squandered and mistreated. We do take our role as stewards of this soil very seriously.
We're playing our role on these 3 acres, these tiny little 3 acres. Maybe out there's one beginning farmer who's inspired by us to start another 3 acres. Someone else will be inspired by them to start another 3 acres. So we can put good things out there and hope that they're gifts that keep on giving. I think a lot of people are feeling disheartened by the current food climate and policy changes and things like that are making food less accessible. And I think if we're waiting on policies to change, we'll continue to feel helpless and hopeless. But we all do have power. We each have power to go support local farmers at the farmers market on Sundays. That is powerful. That speaks loudly. So we're not powerless in a broken food system. And even if we're not all farmers, there's still a lot we can all do.